It is a complete embarrassment what this organization says after a game of that magnitude when you're trying to tell everybody throughout the country and throughout the world, and Joe Douglas coming out and saying that we are a team to be reckoned with. We just because we don't have the names on a team, we still believe that we have players that could be future Pro Bowl players or future stars on this team. To me, what we saw early in the game is Cashman couldn't stay on the field, hamstring or quad problem. This team can't stay healthy. They have no players that can create separation. Their offensive line is definitely better, but we don't know what this offensive line is because they don't have any weapons to throw to. And then you look at this defense, we don't know if they're hot or cold at any parts of the game. Once in the first quarter, they can't stop a nosebleed. And then in the second half of the season, they shut down a good offensive team. So I don't know what the Jets are. I don't know where this organization is going. And I don't know, sitting back, and even as a Sam Darnold fan, I don't know if I can honestly sit here today and say, you know what? If we get the number one pick, if the Jets get the number one pick in the draft, I'm not going to sit here and think not to draft Trevor Lawrence. I don't know if I can honestly sit here and say, you know what? I like Sam, but in 2 years he's a free agent, and you're bringing in a new coach, and now you're going to have to pay Sam Darnold, and you still don't know if he's a franchise quarterback, and you have a guy sitting there right now who could be the next Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, or the next big superstar quarterback that everybody's saying that he is. I'm sorry, as a Jet fan, I'm not sitting here saying, I'm going to trade out of that pick. If I'm getting it, I'm drafting him. I'm sorry, that's the way I'm going.
You do exactly what the Colts did when they knew Peyton Manning was at the end of his rope. You saw Andrew Luck at Stanford. You knew what he can do. You knew what he can bring to the team. Draft him. You do the same. And after I saw what Trevor Lawrence did last night, though it was Wake Forest, Trevor Lawrence is Trevor Lawrence, period. Okay? If you get a chance, if you're the Jets and you get the number one pick, blow it up, snatch Trevor Lawrence, and rebuild. I hate saying the word rebuild, but A, we're talking about the New York Jets, and B, we're talking about a team that had a chance to make a statement today, and they didn't because they got plowed in the first half. The first 20, 25 minutes of the first half, they got plowed with 21 points, and the Buffalo defense made it stand up. It was 27-17, but you knew after the Bills went up 21-0, this game was finito. How the hell were the Jets, as they are constituted right now, going to wipe out a 21-0 deficit that they could have prevented? And Errol, you and I have talked about this a lot. They could have prevented this 21-0 deficit, and they didn't. They got smacked in the face. They got kicked in the crotch, and Joe Douglas and company, Adam Gase included, is doing nothing about it. And CJ, this is for you. This is the impression I laid on CJ earlier today, and I have to do it now. You know something, man? This damn Jets team just gets on my nerves. How can you sit there, Joe Douglas? How can you sleep at night with how pathetic your club is right now? How can you sleep at night when you got Adam freaking Gase, that's how he always says it, as your coach right now? What's it going to do until it gets solved?
Exactly. And I'm telling you, all you Jet fans, you sit here today, and you honestly, we can put up a poll right now. CJ, you could put up a poll and ask them, if you get the number one pick in this year's draft, you're not drafting Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry. If you're getting the number one pick, as good as Sam Darnold could be in the future, knowing that you have to pay him in 2 years with a new coach, now you have 3 coaches in 5 years, and you don't know what Sam Darnold is. Even though a lot of teams will probably give you a possible first-round draft pick for Sam because you think that he's not used goods. He's still a young quarterback. He's 23 years old. I definitely think to move him and bring in Trevor Lawrence because he is the guy that a lot of people think is the next Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, or the next big superstar quarterback in all of football. So, and everybody is going to try to look at Jacksonville. Everybody thought they were going to waive all their players and trade all their players like they did so far this offseason, and they won their first game. So they're out of that number one pick right now. As of right now, the teams that lost have the better opportunity to get Trevor Lawrence. And I'm telling you right now, if Baker Mayfield lose another 2 games early in the season, Baker Mayfield's on his way out from the Browns, and you know the Browns are going to be looking and losing for the rest of the season to bring in somebody like a Trevor Lawrence.
But the team that could sneak up and get Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville's out of the equation now, could be where he's based right now, and that's Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina lost today, a game they should have won. They should have come all the way back and beat the Raiders, but the Raiders came back and beat them. So now you have Carolina in the equation. You have the Jets in the equation. And I don't care what anybody says right now. I agree with you, Errol. Cleveland's in the equation. Mm-hmm. Cleveland is in the equation to get Trevor Lawrence because I don't see any kind of way Baker Mayfield bouncing back from a bad performance today, which has been his operative. Baker Mayfield has had more bad performances than good. So how the hell can you say Cleveland's not in the race for Trevor Lawrence?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, it's still the first game of the season.
I know.
And,
I know what you're saying.
You know, I know right now it just seems like, you know, overreaction is the thing. The game sucks, the team sucks, this sucks, and that sucks. I get it. Okay, look, I'm just as pissed as anybody else. But you know what? I'm not ready to close the book on Sam Darnold just yet. I'm not ready to say that this kid is a bust. I'm not ready to give up on this kid. But you know what? That feeling may change as the season goes on.
Yeah, I don't think he's a bust either. I'm sorry I'm cutting you off. I don't think Sam Darnold is a bust either. I don't. But if you get the number one pick and you're a really bad team this year, you got to rebuild. You got to rebuild because Sam Darnold in 2 years is going to want $40 to $50 million a year. His agent, you saw what he did when he was a rookie contract. He didn't play for a week. He didn't come to practice for a week because he wanted that extra $2 or $3 million.
Right. You know I mean, as far as I'm concerned, whatever Sam Darnold's contract situation has nothing to do with what's going on right now.
Right, I got you.
Right now is this kid needs to get better in this offense, which means that Adam Gase needs to stop being a pain in the ass and needs to go and needs to pull that playbook out and actually draw up some plays that this kid could actually perform. And you know what? Joe Douglas needs to now start scouring every garbage bin there is and every practice squad there is throughout the NFL and go get this kid some wide receivers because you know what? It's clear that Brashard Perryman is not the answer.
Nope.
Herndon, we still don't know what he is. He had a terrible game today, and you know what? That would, in my eyes, that would constitute him being benched. Okay, so you go put in a Ryan Griffin. I am not going to throw the towel in on this season until every single option has been explored and exhausted. And Snowman got the towel right there. He's like, I'm going to throw it for you, man. Throw in the damn towel. Throw in the damn towel.
I'll make a comparison. My 49ers lost today by 4 to Arizona, to an improving Arizona Cardinal ball club. I'm sure as hell not going to throw in the towel on the defending NFC champs when half of their receiving core is injured, including Deebo Samuel, including Brandon Ayuk. If you have a chance to win, and if you don't execute, you just don't execute, period. It's game one. That's a situation that's positive. With the Jets, however, and I'm not saying Sam Darnold's a bust. I'm not saying you can't throw the towel in on him yet.
Said that either.
But I hate to say this, CJ, and I hate to say this, Errol, as I'm backing up a little bit.
You don't have to say it.
There.
There. Well, it doesn't bode well for the New York Jets because guess who they're playing next week? The San Francisco 49ers, and they just lost their first game this week, and they're going to come out hard against the Jets.
I'm going to say it right now. They're going to be pissed off. The 49ers have to spend the next 2 weeks in the Meadowlands. They have to play the Jets, and they also have to play the Giants. So after losing to Arizona, a team they swept last year, which means they're going to sweep everybody else in the division, they're going to come to New Jersey, and they're looking for blood twice.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and it doesn't bode well for the Jets. It would have boded well better for the Jets if San Francisco won today with their wide receiver woes and then go to the Meadowlands and lose against the Jets in a surprise game. Right now, Arizona, a lot of people, Eric Coleman came out and said that he thinks the Arizona Cardinals are a pretending team. I do not believe they're a pretending team. I think they're I think they're a borderline contender. I think I say they're a pretender because I don't know what this team is going to be at full strength, but in all, they can absolutely squeak into the playoffs, and they're a scary team because they have a wide receiver that they got practically for free. And I think
DeAndre Hopkins.
I think he's one of the most explosive wide receivers in all of football. He's a scary player. And I'm not saying I'm giving up on Sam Darnold at all. And all the fans that would think that I'm doing that, it's a lie. I'm not giving up on Sam Darnold. And I am Sam Darnold's biggest fan. But if you're going to honestly tell me sitting here, I'm sorry, what, CJ?
Let me ask you guys a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Joe Douglas and you know that you have this draft capital at your disposal right now, do you turn to Pittsburgh and you offer a second rounder for Juju Smith-Schuster?
No,
because you don't know what you're going to get with Juju.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Juju's mentor was Antonio Brown. When Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster were on opposite sides of the field, they wrecked shop, especially with a healthy Ben Roethlisberger. Now that Schuster is the lead receiver in Pittsburgh, what are you going to get with him?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had to depend on Roethlisberger, and he went out with an injury. He had to depend on Mason Rudolph, and he went out with an injury. He had to depend on 3 different quarterbacks to throw to him. And this is after the first year where he came out like gangbusters because Antonio Brown was on the other side of him, and he had, once again, a healthy Ben Roethlisberger. I don't make that trade.
All right. I just wanted to throw it out there because, I mean, the Jets desperately need wide receiver help. So do you guys see the Jets going out there and possibly targeting somebody this week?
No, I don't. I don't either. No. You know why? Because I don't see anybody that's going to be available that's going to really stand out to the Jets. I think the Jets organization still thinks that this is the first week of the season. There was no practices really. There's only one practice every single day, and there's no preseason. So they're going to make those excuses that these guys are going to have to figure things out. Yeah. Exactly.
You can make that excuse about every team, but again, it goes back to what I said before, gentlemen. The Jets could have easily prevented a 21-0 deficit if they knew how to stop a Buffalo offense where all they did repeatedly in the first half when they got in trouble, they ran Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. 3 separate occasions in the first quarter alone, 15 yards, 13 yards, 12 yards.
Mm-hmm.
On third down.
Josh Allen was their leading rusher on the day
in 2021. They have 2 first-round draft picks, a second round, 2 third rounds, a fourth, 2 fifth rounds, a 6th, and a 7th. They've got a ton of draft capital. They don't, honestly, if they get the number 1 pick, they don't have to trade down to try to get more. If you got the number 1 pick, you draft the best player available, and if it is a quarterback, you draft them. That's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Unfortunately, it slams and slaps Sam Darnold in the face. I feel bad for the kid, but all in all, you have to look at the big picture of your franchise. Is this guy better than this guy when it comes to the franchise for the next 5 years or the next 12 years? That's the way you got to look at it. And unfortunately, it's going to hurt. It hurts as a Jet fan to say because you love Sam Darnold and you love the person that he is. If you get the number 1 pick, you don't trade out of that pick to add more draft capital because you got a ton of draft capital this year and next year.
And if you trade out of that pick and lose all your capital, then what? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to throw a whole bunch of money at Sam Darnold. You're going to have to you're going to face a decision. If you trade out of that number 1 pick, you're going to face a decision that the 49ers faced 4 years ago. Do you pay him now or do you pay him later? What the 49ers faced when they traded for Jimmy Garoppolo, they could franchise him and then they could pay him. That would have been $61 million over 2 years. What the 49ers did, which was smart, and Garoppolo's proving his worth. I don't care what anybody says. Garoppolo's proving his worth because the 49ers handed him $73 million over 5 seasons. They have him locked in now, and the first year back from an injury, where did he take him? He took him to the Super Bowl. You know what Garoppolo just did? He just locked in his future with San Francisco. Everybody that was involved with the 49ers last year has just locked in their future. They've locked in Kittle. They've locked in Mostert. They locked in the pieces they needed to lock in. The mistake that the Jets have made saved Sam Darnold. They did not lock in the pieces that could get them somewhere. And unfortunately, those players are gone now. So if you're the Jets, hell no, you're not going to trade out of that spot because you got a ton of draft picks at your disposal already, number 1. Number 2, the player that you should trade and I may get a backslap for this, but the player you need to get the hell out of there, his last name is Bell.